One question I want to ask, if we talked a lot tonight about people who are working in high performance sport in that environment, but a lot of us are working in the national health system as well. Myself being an example of that now, majority of my time in the NHS, looking after musculoskeletal patients who've got obesity or other cardiometabolic disease. And one of the big things that we're, as doctors, we really would love to get our heads around a bit more is prescribing calorie deficits and macronutrient advice for our patients. Again, conscious of what you've just said in terms of not stepping on other toes and knowing our areas of remit, etc. But we as doctors are there often delivering that health education advice in the first place. You need to lose weight. You need to help. This is how to go about it. But we're actually don't tell them what to do with it. And therefore, have you any good tips for a doctor in a musculoskeletal clinic or sports medicine clinic or in general practice or any other setting, or physio as well in the similar roles? How we could go about that? Give it, where do we look for help? What's a good place for us to start with? How do we start?
Uh, yeah, this is a pretty big one. So I guess
Sorry.
like starting one was starting with like their motivation to do this, because if you say to someone who doesn't really want to lose weight or hasn't kind of got over the line and wanting to kind of put the effort into it, that they need to lose weight, then they're just not going to do anything. So I don't say you're wasting your time, but it's an uphill battle. So you
Yeah.
have to get that buy-in into why it's going to perhaps make their life better and how it's going to influence the people around them and things like this. So once you kind of got them over the line with that, it's looking at just low-hanging fruit. So um, it isn't going to be like, right, you need 2,000 calories a day, two and a half, hit 160 grams of protein. I think that's so I see nutrition as a skill, and calorie counting is, is kind of like one of the last things to look at. You'll be looking at dietary patterns on a whole. It's like, right, what's the low-hanging fruit? How much alcohol do you drink? Can you make better choices there? What's your snack like? Do you meal prep? Do you cook, make high quality food? Just look at the low-hanging fruit there. And just by making small changes without kind of calorie counting, you can probably pull 3, 4, 5,000 calories out of the week quite easily by just making good swaps. And then just by doing that, you put them in a calorie deficit, get them walking a little bit more. Maybe not if they're on a long-term injury, but if they weren't, for example, you just get them moving a little bit, just get them doing some form of activity they like doing. So it might be just go and play football with like the kick it down the park with their grandson or something like that. Just get them moving, get them enjoying it. And we know that habit formation is all about repetition. It's just putting the reps in. The more you do it on a daily basis, you're going to condition a habit, and that is just going to be the new norm. And this is why many diets getting failed, right? And just kind of look at the research there, it's very clear that pretty much everybody can lose weight. Like that's not the issue. It's maintaining the weight after. So, and sometimes within the space of a year, like the majority of people have gained all that weight back and sometimes even more, and they end up in the worst place. So it's really looking at habit changes. And even with the elite athletes I'm working with, like yes, we go into the nitty-gritty numbers, but the underlying theme is just habit change, making this high performance way of eating the new norm. So we kind of put that into the general population. It's right, let's just make these into the habits. Let's work on small wins. So can you just focus on doing X habits? Let's focus on doing that over the course of the week or 2 weeks. Once we've made that into a habit, let's consolidate it. Let's add in the next layer. So it does take a long time, but you know, 6 months might seem like a long time, 12 months might seem a long time. But if they've been eating this way for the last 50 years, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time. It's very, very short. So they do have to be on board with that. And I think just managing expectations as well. They're going to fail. They're going to mess up. Like it's going to be, it's fine. Okay. So again, just going back to the repetition, it's like, okay, if you do something that's not supportive of your goal, that's fine. Let's acknowledge it. Let's learn from it. Let's just get back on track. And it's as simple as that. Things with habit formation, whether it's good or bad, they both get stronger through repetition. So it's like, right, the reduction of exposure to that unfavorable habit, the weaker it's going to get. And the more we do of this favorable habit, the stronger it's going to get. So you're just going to work on that over the course of weeks and months, and slowly they're going to have a better lifestyle. And hopefully through these lifestyle changes, they're going to feel the difference as well. They might lose a little bit of weight, have better energy, have more confidence, which is just going to reinforce their desire to do these more and more. So actually getting a quick win is really important. Really, really important just to get that buy-in, because if they're 3 months down the line and they change their habit and they're not seeing any difference, like, well, what's the point? I'm more miserable, and I just like going back and to eat some cakes and donuts and drink loads of wine. It's like I might as well just do that. So even though we want to think long-term habit formation and all this kind of good stuff, we have to get the quick win to get that buy-in, especially if they've been told they need to lose weight. Um, like it's a little bit different if someone's like an athlete, for example, has come to me, they're like paying money, jumping on the program, all this kind of stuff. They're a little bit more invested in long-term change in the process. But if they've come to your practice and like, right, for your health, you need to lose weight, they're going to be a little bit on the defensive. Perhaps they're not quite want to do it. So getting that quick win is going to be essential with them. They're going to buy in a little bit more and then just kind of work on these habits and just make sure that the habits you plan to work on, they're realistic as well, because they just don't have, although they're going to fail, you don't have consistent failures, right? So it's picking a habit that they can do consistently. So I always use the 7 out of 10 model with this. So let's say, right, let's focus on your protein intake for dinner. Can we get, I don't know, palm size of protein for your evening meal 7 days out of the week? On a scale of 1 to 10, how achievable is that for you? They're like, about 5 out of 10. Okay, that's unrealistic. We're not doing it. How about 4 days a week? Oh, yeah, that's about an 8 out of 10. Perfect. We'll do 4 days. They take that off, they build momentum. With
Love
that
that.
momentum, they get confidence. It's like, right, we're going to go for 6 days this week. Then you do another day. And then it's like, okay, like that just opens up an avenue of like, what other things can I do? So they're not failing, because probably you've always associated dieting as failures, a pretty terrible process, miserable. But if you have like the right support and they're progressing, they're feeling good, they're just gonna do more of it. So it's a long-term thing, and that's when I guess going back to one of my first points today was in terms of the way I coach, it's little and often. It's kind of communicating with them almost daily or every other day just to make sure that everything's going well. And if they mess up, it's like, okay, don't worry about it. Let's crack on. Let's keep on going. So yeah, it takes a long time, but again, I guess kind of concluding points there. It's a short-term thing in the space of their entire life. So it's definitely worth it for sure.
Chris, that is absolutely brilliant point. Like that really hits home, I think, as practitioners. We're always looking for the most nuanced or complex thing to do, or, try this, try that. That is just, stick to the simple things, get on the patient's level and understand where you can really help them make quick, fast wins. As you say, with the low hanging fruit, you will get way more patient buy-in as doctors or any healthcare practitioners by doing that. I think that is an absolutely brilliant point to end on.